What do you enjoy doing when you're not working?
When that happens, I like hanging out with my son. At first it was a job. And now, like, if I don't see him for an hour, I'm missing my best friend. So it would be playing Legos and making fart noises with my son.
How old is your son?
He's 4, just turned 4.
Chef, do you sing in the shower?
I have, yeah. I used to be a musician. I was in a band that toured everywhere. I was in a metal band in New York.
What instrument did you play? Or were you the lead singer?
I was the lead singer, yeah. So I just yelled a lot and cussed. I was nervous about doing this interview because I didn't have to drink a 5th of bourbon before we sat down to have. My wife goes, "This might be the first interview you've had sober in about 15 years."
Talk to us about going sober.
Going sober, it's bittersweet. You know, I'm a huge connoisseur of, I love bourbon. I love everything bourbon. Smelling it makes my mouth water. But I was already a heavy drinker before COVID hit. And then, you know, we went from a restaurant with 30 plus employees to having to close and then having 10, 15 employees. And last year just pushed my drinking tenfold. And I hardly remember the pandemic. It was like a blink of an eye because I was drunk through the whole thing. And I finally reached a point where I felt so terrible. I realized I wasn't suicidal, but my actions were. And if I continued along that path, you know, I had to think about my son and my wife, and I had to stop because I was at rock bottom, and I've been sober now for 2 months, going strong. Never felt better, and you know, it was important for not only my marriage, my son, but my business. You know, when you're drinking that much, you're going through the motions. You're not present for it, but because your body's trained to do your job every day. But now I'm mentally there instead of just physically there, and I'm already seeing an improvement in, you know, recipes I've been cooking for 15 years. They're starting to come out the way I want them to because I didn't start, you know, taking little nips off of my flask, you know, 6 hours into a 14-hour cook. So consistency is getting a lot better. I'll say that.
Are you a breast or a legs man?
Me? I like the thighs. I prefer the dark meat.
What is your method for smoking meats?
Somewhat low and slow. I'm a bit of a traditionalist. You know, there's that fight against people that own electric smokers, indoor smokers. Do what makes you happy. But what makes me happy is going out, starting a bed of coals, starting from there, and then adding. I use primarily oak and pecan and cherry in my barbecue. So it takes me 2 hours to get my fire just to temp. And then, you know, say I'm cooking brisket, what we're known for. It's about a 14-hour cook. So, and add 2 hours for starting the damn fire, you're at 16 hours.